Liv Morgan almost debuted as the Terminator. Tiffany and Charlotte went off script live on SmackDown, and a WWE Hall of Famer says they're not done yet, despite what you've heard.
Plus, Kevin Owens claps back at a disrespectful fan, Juice Robinson is set to return, and Chelsea Green was left heartbroken by a last-minute creative change at Survivor Series.
And if that wasn't enough, get ready for one of the darkest, most emotional rebookings I've ever done. Dean Ambrose, 2018, this heel turn just became a tragedy worth telling. For 364 episodes, this is the burning truth. We're just getting started. Hey, it's Scott Barrett, and welcome to another Scorched Earth episode of The Burning Truth, where the only thing hotter than our takes is Matt Burns' blood pressure when we talk about Buried Alive or his fashion sense. How are you, Matt? You okay?
I like how you give a bit of a subtle dig at the fashion sense right now. But the real truth of it is, yes, it might be a bad fashion sense, but it's a bit of nostalgia. If you know, you know.
Who knew bandanas were a thing in 2025? But here we are, Matt Burns. Here we are.
But anyway, I'm good.
I'm in. You had a good week?
Yeah, it's been not too bad of a good. It's been a really good week. Going through some nostalgia items, doing a bit of a clean up, a bit of almost like a bit of spring cleaning.
It's about time. It's the time of year, mate. It's the time of year. Happy to hear it. Well, I want to talk about one thing really quickly, which is if you want to support the Burning Truth podcast and the YouTube site, and you want to help us get to our goal, which is 1,000 subscribers, as it says below, all you need to do, it's free, is right below where you're watching this right now. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, click the bell, and do us all a favor. It's free to do, and follow the Burning Truth. We're trying to build a community. We want to get loads of wrestling fans together so we can talk about loads of cool stuff. We love doing what we're doing, and we want you to come along for the ride. So please, once again, hit that subscribe button. Muchly appreciated. And if you want to follow us on any social media, just look for the championship belts, type in the Burning Truth, and we'll be there. Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, wherever you want.
That we will. But I've got one question that I need to ask. I definitely need to ask, which is, of course, Scott, how are you?
Oh, I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm glad you haven't forgotten about me. Yeah, having a good weekend. Loads going on. The mighty football team that my son plays for had a really good 4-4 draw this morning, so we're all really excited about that. The house is an absolute tip at the minute. I don't know what it is, but the kids just feel like, like they're going mental. But it's all good. Easter holidays right around the corner. Can't wait for that. It's a good time to be alive, man. The sun is shining.
Oh, love it.
The sun is shining and we're ready to go. And speaking of being ready to go.
For a minute then, I almost showed me age then when you went, the sun is shining. The
sun
weather
is shining.
is. Yeah.
We're doing it. Right, it's time to go to the news. Here we go. I tell you what I really like about those little videos. It gives me time to have a drink. I'm really happy about
that. Well, to be honest with you, it's United News. This just in the news.
Just in, very good. I like that. I'll tell you what, Matt Burns, I'll read through some news stories and we can have a chat about what's been going on in professional wrestling this week.
Can't wait.
Let's talk about this first. Hall of Famer denies retirement claims. So on his podcast this week, WWE Hall of Famer Eric Bischoff recently denied his retirement. In an interview with the Daily Star, Bischoff clarified that while he has no intention of returning to a full-time role in the wrestling industry, he remains open to making occasional appearances, and he emphasized that reports suggesting his complete retirement were taken out of context, stating that he's not retired from the wrestling entirely. Good news?
That is good news, but at the same time, it's weird because I didn't actually think he was retired anyway.
Yeah, apparently something came out not so long ago that he was completely retired, but he hadn't long done that stint with that special with GCW.
Yeah.
I think Bischoff retiring from the wrestling industry seems like such a waste. He's got such a great mind for the business and a good creative head. And, let's be fair, he's the only person that ever competed with Vince McMahon, let alone competed with him and beat him for 83 weeks straight. And it wasn't just that 83 weeks straight, although we talk about the 83 weeks straight that they beat Raw in the ratings. Over that 5-year period, he WCW and WWE were neck and neck for much of that. It was 1 week on, 1 week off, 1 week on, 1 week off. And the only true competitor ever for WWE.
Yeah, and it goes to show that he had such a good tenacity to be able to compete on that level and scale to keep and not just do it like a one-hit wonder. That's it. We've done 83 weeks. That's it. We're not doing any more. But no, it wasn't. Like you said, it was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, and the only true, like I say, the only true competition WWE have ever had. Speaking of WWE, they've got major signings happening in Las Vegas during WrestleMania week. So they've announced this major signing in Las Vegas, and that refers to Miro, formerly known as Rusev in WWE. Reports indicate that Miro's re-signed with WWE and is scheduled to make a special guest appearance at the KnockX Pro Wrestling event from April 16th to around April 18th, I think, in Las Vegas, just before WrestleMania 41. Now, KnockX Pro is founded by Hall of Famer, WWE Hall of Famer, Rikishi, and is part of WWE's ID program. So the developments fueled speculation about Rusev Miro potentially making a surprise appearance at WrestleMania 41, which is scheduled for April 19th and 20th at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. So there's lots of things tying that together.
Yeah, it's all ducking and weaving. But the one thing I did find a bit interesting about this is a lot of rumors and speculation is that the actual signing is only Miro, which I find a bit interesting, and not including CJ Perry, formerly known as Lana, as well. So
the news is saying that although Rusev has been signed, CJ Perry has not, and there's no interest in bringing it back to the company currently.
Now
it seems like a missed opportunity because we all know that the best pairing for Rusev is Rusev and Lana.
It's a good pairing, but there's also a few other possibilities you can get linked with.
Yeah, go on.
Potentially, and I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Go on.
To be honest with you, could you imagine him with Sheamus?
Rusev and Sheamus. I can see it. Yeah, I'm not sure how much it excites me just to bring him back to stick him in tag team.
No. Or even just competing against.
Yeah, that's decent. Good program there. I tell you what, I am interested in, and I'd love your thoughts on this. I would like to see Rusev help the next generation.
Yeah.
And we've kind of parted Ludwig, Kaiser, and Gunter.
Yeah.
I would maybe like to see Rusev take Kaiser under his wing.
Oh, that'd be good. As in to bring his brutality up to that next level.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
Maybe give Kaiser a submission finish.
Oh, yeah, I like that. And all sorts of like, because Ludwig has always had a wicked kick as well. His own variation of his head kick. It looked like a modified Enziguri.
Yeah.
Have you seen it from time to time?
Yeah.
When I first saw it, I thought to myself, that could be a knockout blow.
Absolutely. And it's just, I think there's so many possibilities with him. It seems like another missed opportunity by AEW.
Yeah.
Which, talking of, long-time absent AEW star is set to resume training. So apparently Juice Robinson, who's been sidelined since November last year, I think he broke his fibula in a match with Will Ospreay.
Yeah, it was.
He is now a few weeks away from resuming in-ring training. Robinson's recovery has progressed well following the surgery in December, and his return is expected sooner rather than later, which is good news, right? That's what we want.
It's very good news, especially at the moment, because the Gun Club is only being, at the moment, being represented by Jay White, the Switchblade Jay White at this moment in time. Yes, the Gun Club have been there briefly, but then sort of fallen off the TV a fair bit. Suddenly out of the blue, they had like a return and straight back out. It was like, why bring them back if you're just going to just sideline them again?
Because it wasn't working, Matt Burns, that's why. I mean, that's what I think anyway. But apparently, are they not very happy in AEW? I keep hearing lots of rumors, but nothing's been officially said.
That's what I'm finding a lot lately. It just feels like as though certain individuals are not enjoying themselves over there, and compared to how it used to be, it's people. It just feels like 1 minute they're there and the next minute they're being removed.
Yeah, and I think we maybe used to have that feeling in WWE, but since Triple H has taken over, we're in a totally different place now. And speaking of Triple H, I suppose, and not just Triple H, but Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan revealed that she was initially slated to be part of Triple H's Terminator entrance at WrestleMania 31 in 2015. So this was the match against Sting.
Yeah.
However, the lack of rehearsal time, the plans were altered and she didn't participate in the entrance eventually. Morgan reflected on the experience, noting it would have been her first WrestleMania and a really memorable moment if it wasn't for the change. And that just takes me back to some of the other Triple H entrances we've seen, or some of the other WrestleMania entrances we've seen over the years, where we've had, people who went on to be huge stars just be bit players in entrances. I can name a couple off the top of my head. I don't know if you can think of any.
I can think of one straight off the top of my head right now that stands out because it was in Chicago.
Yeah. Talked about last week on Raw. Yeah.
When he was in Chicago and you got John Cena making a grand entrance, a Chicago entrance with local independent wrestler at the time, CM Punk.
Yeah, CM Punk was one of the goons in the car once he with the gun. It was like a mafia style entrance, wasn't it, that he had?
Which
really cool, actually. I can think of a few more. So DDP driving the car at WrestleMania.
The pink Cadillac?
Yeah, the pink Cadillac. It was his car as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And also the year before this Triple H entrance, I think, 31. 31.
No.
The year or a couple of years before this, he'd been entering on a big giant gold throne. And I remember Alexa Bliss and Charlotte being a part of that entrance as well.
Well, not many people might know this, but Sasha Banks was also part of it as well.
Yes, of course, Sasha Banks as well. Yeah, I did know that.
Now,
only because I think you've told me previously.
Yeah, no, the interesting thing about it is, the pink Cadillac bit, what you mentioned earlier?
Yeah.
That almost didn't happen. It was only because DDP rolled up with it at that time and someone just goes, whose car is this?
Let's use it. I mean,
let's
doesn't
use
get better,
it. And it was like, let's use it. Are you okay? Are you okay to chauffeur?
Yeah, 2 thumbs up. Who's got 2 thumbs and is happy to chauffeur this guy?
Yeah. If you were DDP and you just got offered to chauffeur at WrestleMania, would you say no to that?
No, you'd say, who's got a pink Cadillac and 2 thumbs? Excelsior. That's what you'd say.
Oh, yeah.
Buy the t-shirts on theburningtruthuk.com. Speaking of Charlotte being in that entrance, though, Charlotte was in all the news this week, Matt Burns, and you know why. So it was this promo face-to-face segment on SmackDown with Tiffany Stratton, right? And unreal. And I think Wade Barrett, Stu Bennett, sort of he commentated on it the best because he was in the thing. I think his comment after was something like, "I wanted to be David Frost and ended up being Jerry Springer."
Yeah.
So women's champion Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair deviated from the scripted promo this week, leading to a heated and personal exchange. Unscripted remarks included references to Flair's personal life, Stratton's relationship, and that resulted in a really intense segment that garnered significant attention. And more than anything, the reports coming out on this are that Charlotte actually looked completely lost out there and could not remember any of the promo. So it was her who initially went off script, and then Tiffany just ended it there and then in the ring.
I think what didn't exactly help at the same time is the fact that during this week, we had Charlotte Flair on talk shows.
Yeah,
talking about the whole Andrade situation and everything, which, to be honest with you, I feel for them both. Them both.
It's not easy on anyone, Matt Burns.
No, it's not. It's never easy. But the thing about it is, at first I thought to myself, "Oh, is this a scripted shoot promo?" At first, when it was said, and then when the camera looked at Charlotte, I was like, "Oh no, that's not scripted." Just from the look on their face, but supposedly this was retaliation from some of the previous, banter that they've had, where Tiffany was going off a script and Charlotte had gone off script at her deliberately. Almost
these are in sort of the video link promos that they've had previously. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And the thing is, a part of me can sit there and say, I feel sorry for you, Charlotte, but you brought this on yourself by literally going in for yourself. You basically brought that. If someone goes in to try to steal the show and everything, someone's got. I would have been upset with Tiffany if she didn't fire back, but the fact that she's fired back, right, is absolutely brilliant. Now, my interest in all of this is what's going to, what level is this going to go? When it comes to the match, is it going to be actually personal? Is it going to turn into a slugfest? And the thing is, what I thought was so interesting about it is when she literally just goes, you're keeping up with your father's legacy. What are your marriages? 0-3. Wow.
Yeah, and do you know what? It's interesting because she had been talking about it a lot in the news this week, and I wonder whether don't believe anything on the road to WrestleMania. That could have been scripted for all we know. It's just been reported as unscripted. But the reports are, while we're talking about the reports, let's take it at face value. The reports are that officials were taken aback by the unscripted nature of the segment. Some viewed it as a segment that fell apart, and others noted that both participants received some backstage heat from deviating from the planned script. So I think it's fair to say, though, that there was only one winner in this one. And her name wasn't Charlotte.
Well, there was an actual additional kill shot, to be honest with you. Do you know about this?
Go on. Oh, yeah. Go on, tell me.
When she mentioned at the end of it, then why is Ludwig Kaiser in my DMs? Now, that part, I thought to myself, oh, hang on. He's a heel. Why are you mentioning...
Well, there's just no need for it, is there?
There's no need for that. But to make what made worse of a kill shot is Ludwig's response on X.
And what did he say, Matt Burns?
He just goes, he literally just points at the segments as if to say exactly this. And it's a clip of Shawn Michaels of when he literally just went, he just goes, don't flatter yourself, sweetheart.
Don't flatter yourself, sweetheart. I tell you who we're flattering, though. And that's Tiffany Stratton, right? And the reason we love Tiffany Stratton so much is because she makes it real tight downstairs. And the reason for that, that is one of the reasons we've produced this special in homage to her catchphrase, It's Tiffy Time, the It's Stiffy Time t-shirt, which you can currently get on the burningtruthuk.com. Hit the merchandise button and it's right there for you. £15 for the shirt, and absolutely brilliant t-shirt, a bit cheeky. It's a twist that'll turn heads and get a few laughs. It's Stiffy Time. Get yours while you can on the burningtruthuk.com.
And it's an interesting way to get the conversation started.
Yeah, well, it is that. Yeah, absolutely.
It is. It's one slip of a syllable.
Right. So, from something funny to something a bit more serious, Matt Burns. News about Kevin Owens this week after his promo on SmackDown announced his withdrawal from WrestleMania 41 due to a neck injury. Kevin Owens potentially out for 2 to 5 years. It sounds like this is a really bad one. It's going to need surgery. It's a really serious injury. At first, people were saying, "Oh, maybe it's a work." It doesn't look that way. It looks to be a serious injury. And after the announcement on SmackDown, a fan was making disrespectful remarks as he exited the ring. Now, Owens has been a heel recently, so if that fan's got carried away, I think that's fair. But Owens responded directly to the fan's comment, expressing his displeasure before continuing backstage. And I think there's a fine line sometimes between real emotion and what is a work, and it's difficult in reality sometimes to pull those two things apart. But this is obviously a very serious issue.
I think for me, when I knew something was up when you got the announcements of him being called to the ring.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, that sounds quite serious. KO comes down and he's wearing his breast. I'm like, and I thought, pink. He isn't going to Mark Henry it, is he? You know, pink clothing, Mark. The infamous pink jacket,
salmon jacket.
Yeah, I thought to myself, he was going down it, and it looked like it was part of the story. It was only when Randy Orton was walking down the aisle, I thought to myself, oh no, this is real. Just from Randy's facial expressions and when they crossed each other at the ring.
Yeah.
Immediately then, I knew something was up, because if it was a work, Randy would have just instantly attacked. Because bear in mind, in the storyline, it would have made more sense for him just utterly just destroy him there and then if he was well enough, but he wasn't, and you could tell just from the somber look on his face, and you could see Kevin Owens was eating up. He, as much as he likes to play a heel, he doesn't like to disappoint fans.
You could see the real man in this segment, I think, because it was,
you could see the real person, and he wore his heart on his sleeve at this moment. So for me, I've always been a big fan of Kevin Owens. I've been a fan since before he was even known as Kevin Owens, when he was Kevin Steen. I had a feeling he was going to be in the WWE at some point, but when it's in a situation like this, as much as everyone can sit there and say, well, all of these other wrestlers come back, doesn't always mean it's always spot on. They took a chance and it paid off. It's always a gamble. And Kevin Owens is a big family man. And he's got to sit there and think, is it worth me taking the risk for my family, or do I need to consider something else?
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's just hope this one ends in a happy ending.
I hope it does. I really
someone who has been blessed with a happy ending is Chelsea Green, but she was left heartbroken by a WWE creative change. Chelsea Green disclosed that she was initially scheduled to win the Women's United States Championship at Survivor Series 2024 in her hometown, but the plan was changed and she won the title 2 weeks later in Long Island, New York. Chelsea Green expressed that while she was initially heartbroken by the change, the support from fans and family during the eventual win made it a memorable experience. Now, we all know that I really wanted Chelsea Green to be the first United States Women's Champion. I'm really happy that that's what we got. And I don't think this hurt too much, did it, Matt Burns?
It would have been an absolute magical moment, but here's the thing. It's fine having a single moment, but she isn't just having a single moment right now, is she? Her run is interesting.
When you line it up against the run that Lyra Valkyria is having on Monday Night Raw.
Oh, yeah.
Chelsea Green's having a really good time.
Yeah. Where Lyra Valkyria isn't.
We like her, and as good as she is.
And she is good.
Had a great reign, has she?
No, she hasn't. And I feel sorry for her. Where I feel Chelsea Green's having more fun. And not only has her being with that championship elevated her, it's also elevated others, especially with Hervis. As you know, a secret Hervis, her stable, her team. Which is so at the same time, that's the difference between the two mid-card titles for the women's.
One's got story, one's got none.
One's just seems like I'm checking on anybody and hasn't really got anything other than potentially I might need to fight Bailey for this.
Yeah.
Whereas Chelsea Green's got more depth and more things to sink her teeth into, because she hasn't just got herself, she's got a whole team behind her, keeping her well guarded, and it's more dramatic because where with the IC championship, any woman can just go, I want to challenge you for it. Okay. Match happens. Moved on. Whereas with Chelsea Green, you got to take on my bodyguards. You've got more to play with.
I think it's exactly what I said, mate. I think it's story versus no story, and having a plan versus having no plan. It's a good idea putting it on Lyra Valkyria, but it's that question of what's next, and I don't think we've got that right now, have we?
And I think that's the problem that they've got. Whereas with Chelsea Green, they know they don't need to have Chelsea Green on all the time because she's got her, her secret herbies, which is I absolutely love. And the fact
it's great. Yeah,
it's great, and it's not just the fact of it's elevating individual. It's not just in her situation. She isn't just elevating herself. She's elevating herself, the championship, and 2 others.
Speaking of having a creative plan, I want to talk to you about Shawn Michaels taking full creative control of his iconic WrestleMania match. What do you mean, Scott? Do you mean the Shawn Michaels Undertaker matches? No, I don't. I mean, Michaels had assumed complete creative control over his WrestleMania 24 match against Ric Flair, which was billed as Flair's retirement match at the time. Shawn Michaels stated that he wanted to ensure the match honored Flair's legacy and their friendship, describing it as his love letter to Ric Flair. And this, Matt Burns, I'm going to announce right now to you and to everybody, because, this is going to come as a surprise to you too. Next week on the pod, we are going to be doing a live watch along of WrestleMania 24. So we're going to get to watch this live next week. So I'm glad we got time to. I'm glad this has popped up in the news this week.
I love it. And
a phenomenal match, right?
Phenomenal is an understatement. I absolutely loved that match. I really, really enjoyed that match. As much as I was heartbroken with these, but at the same time, I knew that is a match I would recommend anyone to, if it's a great. I think the best way to say it is what you've just said. It was a love letter to Flair, and it really, really shows. It goes to say, storyline. You can throw moves in anywhere and everything. It doesn't make a match. Story, context makes the match.
Absolutely. Right. That's the news, unless you've got anything to add, Matt Burns.
Well, now that you mention it, there is a bit of additional news for you. You mentioned earlier that there was a return, didn't you, with through AEW? Did you not, with Juice Robinson?
Juice, yeah.
Yeah, well, WWE have got some returnees coming soon.
Okay.
WWE have, which initially right now there's 2 names that is possibly due to be returned to the ring soon. One of them being Kairi Sane.
Oh, lovely.
And the other being Jay McDonough.
JD McDougall-face.
Exactly. Love it. They're both being very close to being cleared by WWE doctors. Kairi Sane hasn't competed since December 2nd episode of Raw, where she and Io Sky lost a tag team match to Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And we definitely know when McDonough sort of had his injury, if you remember.
Yeah, he's back. Yeah, absolutely.
Back, neck,
on the table. Yeah.
Punctured lung.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a bad one. That one. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that news is welcome, because those guys coming back, it can only strengthen the roster. So that's great for that to be happening in the same week that we had Rey Fenix debut. Yes,
which I think is absolutely amazing. But and what a great match he had. Great match. What?
I was thinking about Penta's debut on the second Raw on Netflix, and then I was thinking about Rey Fenix's debut, and I kept thinking, oh my God, how much better than Penta is Rey Fenix? Now, that is debatable, and we can talk about that till the days come in. But right now, I'm on the Rey Fenix train, not on the Penta train.
Fair enough. But I will say, though, Frazier almost had a bit of a whoopsie in the match. If you did watch it, have you seen it? The dive.
Yeah, it's okay. They covered that well.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. They covered it well, and I feel as though with Rey Fenix, he's got a bit more. What I thought was interesting is he aimed like one of his old finishers in the match, and I thought he killed him. I was like, that's it, done. Kick out. What? And I like how he used I believe it was called the MMB, the Mexican Muscle Buster. But
Yeah,
what I
it was
thought
it was a muscle buster into like a cradle shock.
what I thought was so interesting about it is I didn't think I was going to see a Muscle Buster, because a Muscle Buster was supposedly banned, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it caused a major injury.
Yeah, it did. But do you know what? Samoa Joe did use it a few times after that.
Yes, he did. But the difference is, I think that little twist in the move that he's got, it's
actually worse than the actual Muscle Buster.
Yeah. It looks more
it's
painful.
It's a worse one to take, I think.
You think?
1000%. I know which one I'd rather take.
What, Joe's or
Joe's one every day of the week. Right. Is it time to bury something?
I think it is.
You go get that shovel, mate.
On my way. Just getting back.
Dearly beloved, it's time for Buried Alive. I stole your bit there.
No, I saw what you're doing. I knew what you were going to
do. Buried Alive is our version of Room 101. So we take an idea, a concept, a storyline, or a character from the world of professional wrestling that we absolutely hate, and we decide whether it should be buried alive for all time, never to see the light of day again, Matt Burns. And this week, I've made some notes because this is one that really grinds my gears. This is what we're debating today. This is indie wrestlers' generic metal entrance music. Oh, Matt Burns. Let me set it up for you, right? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about why I dislike it. So, you've heard it 27 times before the main event even starts. It's the same trudging riff, some angry dude growling about pain or war or some other bullshit, and it's followed by a breakdown that sounds like a washing machine full of cutlery. Right? For me, it's got zero identity. It tells me nothing about the wrestler. Are they a high flyer, a brawler, a lovable goof? I've got no idea because the music just says, I once listened to Slipknot and I didn't enjoy it. Every match then sounds the same, so the crowd doesn't get a cue for who's coming out. The moment the first riff starts, people are thinking, isn't this the guy who's just been on? In the guy in the black gear? It's exactly the same.
Match one. Match two.
Yeah, and most of the time it's just royalty-free metal track 12 from some YouTube library. So it's like soulless, overused, utterly forgettable. You know, if your entrance theme could be the background music for a Fortnite montage, then I think you should rethink your life choices.
Maybe go to Elden Ring.
Yeah, so I think it's just a missed opportunity for hype. So a good entrance theme builds anticipation. Think Stone Cold's glass shattering or The Undertaker's gong. You know, this stuff, it's like audio wallpaper, loud, angry, bland. So it's 2025, and I just think we should be more creative. The tools are out there: custom music, synth wave, hip hop, weird cowboy, electro, funk. I don't know. I just think there's no excuse in 2025 for sounding like a background extra from Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3. I just think like the time has come and gone for that. And I'm happy to argue with you, but I think I might be talking to my target audience here, Matt Burns. You can tell me.
That's just killed me off.
Tony Hawk.
Oh, that's just killed me off.
Thinking long and hard about it, mate. Listen, this is one of the things that, like, do you know when we interviewed Alton Thorne?
Yeah.
And we asked him, is Buried Alive? And he came up with it like on the spot, like really quick. He knew exactly what it is. If anybody ever asked me what is, I've been saving this, but if anybody ever asked me what is the one thing in wrestling that I would get rid of for all time, this is it. It's like, It's the thing that it's like nails on a chalkboard for me.
Right. You know, I am a fan of rock music.
Yes.
Right. I am a fan of rock music. So unfortunately, I am going to have to do something that you're not going to expect. I'm sorry to disappoint you right now, but there's not going to be an argument.
All right. Okay. Yes.
There's not going to be an argument because
does that mean you're changing your entrance music, Matt Beards?
Mine isn't generic. You know, mine isn't generic. Okay. Mine has meaning. But anyway, point being is, I get where you're coming from. If you're going to have a song, have it with a meaning and actually have it be pushing a direction. Because when you've got, as much as everyone can sit there and say, oh, generic music, but my biggest issue with this is when you've got a good guy coming out to generic rock music. I thought you might be getting cheered.
Yeah. You know me, over the years, I've had many a disagreement with a talent because they thought that was the right entrance music. And I've always been right.
Bear in mind, as much as a lot of people might expect me to go down this, go against you on this, bear this in mind that, this might come into play, if you remember, when I used to wear this. Did I enter to generic rock music then?
No, not at all.
No, it wasn't. It was poppy.
I mean, it's a throwback. I mean, we're going back about 15 years here, Matt Beards.
Oh, definitely.
You couldn't grow a beard back then. I mean, you're still struggling now, but at least it looks a bit fuller than it did.
Yeah. I couldn't even get attached at the time.
So I think we're in agreement. Generic metal music for wrestlers, indie wrestlers.
If it hasn't got a meaning at all and doesn't add to your character or personality or anything, if it doesn't bring anything to it, as we have said many times in the past to certain things, just yeet it out your life.
Yeet it out your life. I tell you what, you start digging, I'll play the music. There we go. It's buried. It's gone. It's done. Generic metal music. Never see me. I never want to hear it from anybody again. If you've picked generic metal music, and again, I'll say it, if it sounds like you're a background extra from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, stop using it now.
And if anyone does take a pot shot that the Buried Alive sounds like generic music, there's a meaning to it.
Yeah.
It has meaning.
It says Buried Alive, guys. You know what I mean? Literally says it in
the title's in it.
Okay. Matt Beards, are you ready to do the top three?
Ready.
Ooh, it's the next segment. I like this one. This is top three. I tell you what, I like it when it's not my turn because it's difficult. That's right. Top three is where we challenge each other to give our top three of any chosen topic from inside the world of wrestling. And this week, Matt Beards, I have challenged you. I would like to know your top three members of the Anoa'i family. And I'm just gonna pull something up here.
What the family tree? Are you aiming for the family tree?
Yeah, don't spoil
it. It's a really big family tree.
It's huge. It's actually huge.
It's huge.
It's huge. Where are we? There we are. Here we go. Incoming. One extra large family tree. Oof. Matt Beards, where do you even start with this? Who are your top three?
You can't go anywhere without mentioning certain names. You know, we've got some honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Definitely. And an honorable mention, the Usos.
Yeah. Usos, yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Jimmy and Jay.
You don't have to be even direct. You can even get into it by marriage. Trinity,
yeah.
definitely. We've even got to include head of the table, Roman Reigns,
Tribal Chief.
Yeah, and we've also got to definitely mention Rikishi. Definitely got to mention Rikishi because it's a very big family, and there's one name. Well, there's you know what? There's one more shout out I want to give.
Okay,
and it's a team.
It's who? Sorry,
it's a team.
Okay,
and maybe we have 3 minutes to talk about them.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Which is none other than Rosie and Jamal.
Yeah, great shout.
Yeah, Jamal needs to be mentioned, and also his other name, Umaga, or as Regal would call it, Umanga.
Yeah,
they've got to be mentioned because for me, they were absolutely phenomenal and absolutely outstanding. Now, I'm gonna go down with one more to mention, one honorable mention. As much as I know a lot of people could sit there and say he should be at the top, and he should be, seeing as he's one of the founding family members.
Yeah.
High Chief Peter Maivia.
Absolutely, yeah.
Definitely needs to be mentioned. But the reason why I feel as though the three that I'm going to be mentioning now are fundamental in WWE. They broke down barriers and brought up absolutely phenomenal. Number 3.
Yeah.
It is going to be Rodney Anoa'i. And for anybody who doesn't know who that is, Yokozuna.
Nice. Really good pick.
He's got to be on the list. He had to be on the list because for the man of his size, the way he moved was absolutely astronomical. Yes, they did hail him from Japan.
First Anoa'i WWF champion, WWE champion.
Spot on. Spot on. He was always giving, always willing. And when it was like technically his first WWE championship was taken immediately straight away off him from Hogan.
Yeah.
And he could have kicked off about that. Could have. He didn't. He didn't. And then he ended up getting a decent reign. So he definitely needs to be on there. A lot of people might be surprised at my number 2 because they may think they should be number 1. Dwayne Johnson.
It's a strong number 2, Matt Burns. I'm not sure where you're going now because that's huge.
That is huge. The Rock needs to be on this list because
I know, but as number 2,
there's a reason why.
You mad bastard.
It might sound like I'm being mad, but it's
how is he number 2?
You'll see. You'll see. Because for me, he is absolutely, the man reinvented himself. Absolutely phenomenal. The fact that he's still adding more, who knows, down the road, he could actually overtake and become the new number 1. But as he has been absolutely crucial in keeping certain things going, absolutely still keeping the business going, and such a great individual, elevating wrestling, and not just he hasn't just brought just casual fans. He's brought the non-casual fans into it as well by going into movies and everything, and he's been absolutely entertaining as hell. He is The Rock. He is the most electrifying man in sports. Correction, not sports entertainment, in all of entertainment.
True that.
The next the next one, the number one.
Number one.
And you'll see why shortly. Because the number one spot isn't a singular.
Oh, we've copped out here, Matt Burns. I'm not sure I'm happy with this.
It's not singular. It's a pair.
Yeah, I feel like it's a cop out.
Why do you think it's a cop out?
Because you picked more than one person.
I don't. There's no way I could pick them. I could pick an individual out of these two. The Wild Samoans. Are you telling me I have to pick one of them?
Yeah, you should. I think you should have to pick one of them. I'm not going to make you because it's your top three. I'm just saying that it's a cop out. I asked you for your top three and you give me your top four.
Okay.
Which bumps The Rock down to number three and Afa and Sika as 1 and 2.
No. Okay. You want me to pick one? I'll pick one. If I'm going to pick one, I'll pick one. And if you give me 2 seconds, I am going to go. I'm just double checking something quickly.
Putting him under pressure here.
I am going to go with Sika.
Really?
A lot of people, as much as I know Afa, he is really well known. Right?
Yeah.
But if you look at the family tree,
yeah,
if you've got no Afa, you've got no Manu. You haven't got LA Smooth. You haven't got Samu. Right? If you haven't got Sika, you've got no Anoa'i, who was Black Pearl. You have no Rodney Anoa'i, no Yokozuna. You have no Matthew. Oh, no, correction. My mistake. Apologies. My mistake. Wrong. I've gotten confused. My mistake. If you haven't got Sika, you don't have Rosie.
Oh, yeah. Rosie and Jamal, yeah.
Yeah. And if you don't have Sika, you have no tribal chief.
Oh. Oh.
You have no tribal chief. So, as much as I know Afa is the more known of them, I feel Sika has had a bit more of a future in the business. The fact that his 2 sons, which were Matthew Anoa'i, Rosie, and Roman Reigns, Joe. Because there's no way I'm saying Roman Reigns' full name without butchering it. So there you go. Are you happy now?
I am, mate. I am much happier with that. Thank you very much.
But did I shock you? I went with Sika over Afa.
You didn't shock me because he is probably he's probably the better one.
Afa might have trained more. And he has trained more.
But there's only one tribal chief, right?
Come on. And bear in mind that, out of the honorable mentions, we've got straight away, think about it, Roman Reigns and Rosie on there.
Yeah.
And if we haven't got Rosie there, then would Edward Fatu, Umaga / Jamal, been in the position that he was in?
Yeah. Okay, listen, I'm sold. So give me your top 3 once again. Number 3.
That would be Yokozuna.
Number 2.
The Rock.
Number 1.
That will be Sika.
Fair dues, Matt Burns. I think you might have fumbled there, but it's your top 3 and you've got to live with it. Shall we do a rebook this?
No. You're saying I fumbled? You forced me. I wanted the head drinkers together, and you know I wanted them together.
It's a top 3, not a top 4. It's time for reboot this. Are you okay?
I'm fine.
You sure?
I'm not raging on the inside.
It's time for Rebook this. After your 5 bangers out of 5 last week, Matt Burns, I've got to come back even stronger. Do you want to set up what you've given me to Rebook this week and why?
Oh, I had this. I've had this I've had this in the chamber for a while.
Oh.
I had to have it in the chamber for a while because, and it might sound like a chamber, like I'm about to fire at Scott, but it's not, because I knew he was the right man for the job. Because come on, I had my first 5 bangers last week. Scott's been literally consistent with his bangers. He's been getting.
I've consistently been bangering.
Exactly. I love it. But yeah, but the point being is, he's been producing, 5 bangers from his rebooks.
It's that banger alarm again. Carry on.
Exactly. That's how epic he is at doing it. And I thought to myself, who could pull a absolute story that WWE had? They had the potential of making a great storyline, great plot line.
This was a fumble.
And this was more than just a fumble. This was why? Genuinely, which is the heel turn of Dean Ambrose.
Okay, are you ready?
Ready and waiting.
Okay, this is a rebook that I've decided to call Brother No More, The Tragedy of Dean Ambrose. And 2018 to 2019. And this is different to some of the other rebooks I've done, actually. This is much more a character piece than some of the other sort of quests or redemption stories that I've done previously. This is a bit darker. And the tagline I've given this is, "You always said burn it down." So I did. Act 1, The Spark. So I've broken it down into acts for you, Matt Burns. Around October, the end of October 2018, Monday Night Raw, Roman Reigns announces his leukemia diagnosis. The world stops. Seth cries, and Dean stares into nothing. The same night, Ambrose and Rollins win the tag titles, but there's no celebration. Dean doesn't smile. He barely reacts. Backstage, Dean Ambrose sits in silence, a shield vest folded next to him, and he mutters, "We were supposed to go down together. Burn it down." Not a catchphrase, a warning. As we get into late October, early November, Dean becomes colder. He's distant. He's not giving shield fist bumps, no eye contact with Seth, and he starts no-showing tag matches. He's vanishing mid-brawl. Seth pleads with him on Raw. This isn't about titles anymore. This is for Roman. And Dean doesn't reply. He just walks away.
Cold.
By the middle of November, we have the turn. After they lose the tag titles, Seth tries to regroup. And Dean strikes. Dirty deeds on the floor. No taunt, no pause, just silence. Dean Ambrose leaves through the crowd before walking up the ramp. So he goes out and he comes back and he leaves up the ramp and he turns to the camera and he says, "He said burn it down." So I did. And then we get the descent. So by the time we get to the end of the year, Dean stops talking. And when he does, it's erratic. You cheer for him, you mourn him, but you forgot me. You lit the fire, Seth. I just stopped pretending it wasn't burning. He starts to wrestle dirty, unhinged. He's attacking wrestlers without reason. He leaves the Shield memorabilia burned in the ring after every match. So he's lighting the jackets, the T-shirts, the combat gear. This was never about justice, he says. This is about control, and I'm not letting you control me anymore. Ooh. Eventually, we get to TLC 2018, and it's for the Intercontinental title. It's brutal, it's personal, it's ugly. Dean targets Seth's knee. He rips the ring apron and hits Dirty Deeds on the concrete. He wins, but he doesn't celebrate. He walks out through the crowd, dragging the Intercontinental title behind him like it's dead weight. And at this point, he's the Intercontinental Champion. And he's just cold. He's like Mox, but blank. Like there's no emotion. He's completely cold. Like a hitman. In the new year, Dean holds the Intercontinental title hostage. He doesn't defend it. He doesn't care. He starts hurting anyone with hope. Finn Balor, Rey Mysterio, Mustafa Ali, choking them with their merch, and then burning the t-shirts afterwards, leaving them behind. Hope is a disease, and I'm just the fire, he says. Seth tries to save him. He's pleading with him. And Dean mocks him every time. You said burn it down. What did you think that meant? And we get to the Rumble. Dean isn't in the match, but he does show up mid-Rumble, hops the rail, and eliminates Seth illegally, and then vanishes. The crowd boos, and Dean, watching from the crowd, eventually smiles just for a second, and then whispers to the camera, "Ashes don't lie." Then we get the Elimination Chamber. And in that, Ambrose is in a triple threat match. It's Dean Ambrose versus Finn Balor versus Elias for that Intercontinental title. And Dean loses after Seth distracts him from ringside. He doesn't attack. He just pleads with him. Finn Balor eventually wins. Dean stares up at the lights and laughs. You wanted me to burn it down, Seth, he says on the mic. Now all we've got are ruins. And that's where we get to the last stand. Seth finally challenges Dean to end it. Dean says nothing for a week. And then finally he says, if you want closure, I want silence. And he accepts the match for WrestleMania, no holds barred. But Dean doesn't call it no holds barred. He calls it no sanctuary. So in the build to Mania, Dean burns the shield vest, Roman's shield vest, in the ring. He wraps Seth Rollins' glove with barbed wire, and he stares into the camera. If you're the architect, then build a grave. And then we get WrestleMania 35, which is Ambrose versus Rollins, no sanctuary. No entrance music for Dean, no pyro, just dead air. And the match is raw, unflinching, uncomfortable. Doesn't feel like a wrestling match. It's a fight. Seth pleads with Dean to stop, and Dean doesn't. He again rips the ring mat open and exposes the wood, this time hitting dirty deeds on the wood beneath the ring for a hellacious 2 count. And eventually Seth Rollins hits the stomp, and Dean gets up and he laughs at him on his knees and tells him, do it again, finish what you started. Seth Rollins hits a final stomp onto Dean Ambrose, onto the shield vest, onto the wooden planks of the ring. 1, 2, 3. Dean Ambrose lies still in the ring. Seth doesn't celebrate. He just sits beside him, absolutely broken, crying that he had to put down his friend. The next night on Raw, no sign of Dean Ambrose. Just an empty locker, a burned vest, and a folded piece of paper on the bench. And it says, he said burn it down, so I did. The fire's out. The war is over. Dean Ambrose. And we don't see Dean Ambrose again for a long time. The tragedy of Dean Ambrose, that's what I'm calling it. And that's where they end the pre-book. The rebook. I suppose what we could do after this is I did give some examples of what could have come after. So maybe he returns, changed, cold, and renamed. So maybe he comes back as that Moxley persona. He is what's left. He is what's not here for redemption, just reckoning. Maybe he never comes back. Maybe the guild wants Seth Rollins forever.
And he just goes over to AEW.
Yeah. Maybe a new star begins to walk the same path Dean did. And Seth starts to, unravel. Or maybe one day he comes back and he speaks, I lost myself and I survived. But certainly this is a different sort of reboot because I didn't go down the traditional route of any sort of redemption. It's just spiraling down until the very end. So in my mind, it's a character piece. It's one man completely losing their mind.
And I think, as silly as it sounds, right, I'm not gonna say anything right now. Shall we just get straight to it?
Yeah.
Shall we just get straight to it? Because I have a feeling that there's certain alarms about to go off.
Did you enjoy it, mate? Yeah.
I think there's going to be some major alarms. You know exactly which alarm I'm on about.
Go on.
It will be banger after banger after banger after banger after banger.
Yes. A banger along.
Well deserved. Well deserved.
What did you think then, Matt Beers? You enjoyed that, yeah? Something a bit different.
The reason why I gave you 5 bangers. Do you want the complicated answer or do you want the simple answer?
Whatever you want, mate.
The simple answer, way better than what was actually done.
Yeah. No shots backstage in a gas mask into his ass.
Exactly. Whereas the in-depth that Luke obviously is, it is very fitting with his character. I remember when you sort of hinted at and you said it might not be Mox, might not be, but I felt as though you actually touched on both Dean and Mox.
Yeah.
In such a way. Yeah, it was like the initial stage of the transition slowly going into it, which I think is a nice touch to do it. And I think that was a really good way. I was waiting for the end. At the end when you said Dean on the note, I was expecting to say formally Dean.
Yeah, it could have been, and they definitely could do that next. You could go in loads of different directions from there. He could leave the company. He could go on hiatus. He could come back, as a babyface eventually if they give it enough time. He could come back as a heel. He could, reinvent himself, find himself. He could wait until Roman Reigns came back and then come back at the same time. Or, there's 1,001 things they could have done.
Yeah, and the genius part about that entire situation, it didn't just mean that Ambrose left on a whim, on a somber note. It's sort of like the old tradition of going out on your back.
Yeah, but it doesn't put Rollins over either. So Rollins beat his friend, but what actually did he get out of it? He's heartbroken in the ring, and the character work for Rollins on the back of that as well is huge. You know what I mean?
It's absolutely phenomenal because you've add an extra twist, an extra layer of creativity for not just one individual. It's not all centered around one individual because, answer me this, at the same time, when Roman comes back, Roman can sit there saying, "What did you do?
Yeah.
What did you do?"
Yeah, because from Roman's point of view, you turned on me last time, and this time you've turned on Dean.
That's what I mean. It can look like, from Roman's side, it's like, you turned on. He
needed your help.
And you decided to, instead of helping him, you put him out of his, you put him out. You took him out.
Yeah.
You're not an art attack. You're a hitman.
Yeah. So 5 out of 5 bangers. Thank you very much. That was Rebook This.
Yeah, absolutely love that. So I really did. But anyway, unfortunately, that's it for episode 364. What an emotional roller coaster! It really has.
It was a bit.
It's has been a roller coaster. We saw legends refusing to retire, champions speaking out, and we buried the most overused sounding indie wrestling.
And let's not forget the reboot story of Dean Ambrose. That one's going to stick with me. If you felt the fire, drop a like, share this with your crew, and let us know your Shield storyline in the comments below.
That storyline is going to be forever etched and haunting my memories because it never happened. But anyway, we're gunning for 1,000 subscribers, and on YouTube, your likes, shares, and comments help keep this fire burning bright.
Yeah, follow us on all platforms at TBT Live UK, or just search The Burning Truth and look for the belt where anywhere that you see the belt. You can also hit up theburningtruthuk.com for exclusives, bonus content, and our brand new merch store with our The Champ Is Here t-shirt. It's Stiffy time. Excelsior with 2 thumbs and a certain phrase that Matt Burns is going to be saying any moment now.
Of course, but until next time, stay hyped, stay loud and proud to be a wrestling fan, and of course, remember DFTBA. And in case you don't know what it means, don't forget to be awesome!
Excelsior!